and I look forward supporting this project 100% to its, not just the groundbreaking, but the ribbon cutting when it comes. God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, MP Dr. Ferguson. And to continue in the vein, we want to now welcome to the microphone Mr. James Robertson, the Member of Parliament for Western St. Thomas. Mr. Robertson.
I want to ask you all to put your hands together for the chairman that has done a good job this morning. And before I go through, I just ask you, Mr. Chairman, to identify the members of your board that have done a tremendous job to bring us here today.
Fellow directors, could you stand, please? These are but only some of the members of our board, led by our chairman, Tanny Shirley.
Put your hands together for them, please. Prime Minister, welcome back to St. Thomas. When you came here with the vision months ago for this project, a lot of people didn't share it and didn't believe it. You believed it and you have delivered it, and we say thank you this morning. A tremendous job has been done this morning to recognize all present with us. Ambassador Custos, Permanent Secretary, former MP, ministers. I see a full turnout to welcome this project. I see my colleague and my friend, Mr. Dunn, here with us. Dr. Dunn, can you please stand up also? When I was being interviewed a few minutes ago on RJR, I looked out and I realized something special was happening here today. I saw businessmen, bankers, investors coming into Morant Bay, the new town center, Morant Bay. I realized a new wind was blowing. I want to quickly say, because we are here to listen to what the Prime Minister and other ministers have to say, I will be with you for a long time explaining and sharing the vision of this project and explaining it from the hills of Penline, Trinityville, Seaforth, York, all the way to here. I just want to indicate to you that it was 154 years ago that Paul Bogle walked from these hills to Spanish Town. And he had a vision and a mission, and it was to see a fair return and investment in the East for the people of the East who were paying their taxes. It was a special time when we came here to announce this project. And today, 154 years after Paul Bogle, I will only say to the people of St. Thomas and the East, our time has come to share in the prosperity that all of Jamaica is experiencing. In 1997, when the Goodyear factory closed, a lot of us lost hope. Dr. Fenton Ferguson, that's around the time when I met you. A lot of us wondered what was going to make the difference to bring St. Thomas back. We knew we were losing. We knew we were sliding, and we were already behind. Well, I say to you, Prime Minister, this is the game changer. This and the highway from Harbour View all the way to Portland. I acknowledge, and I see my friend Mr. Vaz here, Minister Vaz. You are going to drive this way to Portland every single time because you are going to come east. We look forward, Prime Minister, and I know you're going to speak to it, because we are far down the wicket with the new highway. I will only say it is going to be shared for all, because we are going to go from Morant Bay to York to Seaforth to Trinityville to Cedar Valley. And I have a last announcement. The bridge in the hills of St. Thomas that links St. Thomas to East Rural St. Andrew, the constituency of the Prime Minister's wife, will also start this year. St. Thomas, we are seeing a change, a new day, and we say thank you to the Prime Minister, his cabinet, and all who have made this possible. I want to indicate to you, Mr. Ambassador, buy some land and practice our language, because we are practicing yours. Welcome. Thank you. Madam Costas, you share the vision now? You understand what is happening? I am here. I am your friend. My father said to say hello to you. He can't be here with us. We're all family in the East. Thank you all. And put your hands together, because tell me what bigger could happen to make a difference for our children and our future than what is happening here today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, MP Robertson. A public service announcement. There is a motor vehicle with the license plate 0022GJ. Your doors are open, so you may want to check that. It is safe. Yes, it is safe, but just if it rains, you know, that's all I'm thinking of. Yeah, that's all I'm thinking of, right. Of course, you'd have heard homegrown talent, the birthday girl just now. You'd have heard MP Robertson reference the private sector, members of the financial institutions that are present, public sector members, but not to be outdone. It's actually members of the entertainment industry that's here as well. And we want to acknowledge Popcorn. Popcorn is here. You want to just stand and be acknowledged. Yes, stand and be acknowledged, Popcorn. Yes. A center for all segments and sectors of Jamaica. Yes. So, ladies and gentlemen, as we move on in the program, we are now going to be listening to the Minister without Portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, the Honorable Daryl Vaz, Member of Parliament.
Thank you very much. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Most Honorable Prime Minister Costas, Ambassador, my good friend from China, colleague members of Parliament, Mayor, councillors, all protocol observed. I don't have much to say, which is quite unusual, because my Prime Minister will be speaking shortly. As a matter of fact, almost immediately after me. But I just want to say that I'm very happy for my colleague member of Parliaments, Ferguson and James Robertson, because this, in fact, is a game changer for the eastern end of the island. This will move St. Thomas from poverty to prosperity. And Prime Minister, if you vividly want to see what poverty look like, you just have to look at that building. The old Goodyear building closed from 1997, which was a hallmark in this parish. If I was a different person, I would badmind them because of what they are getting here, and I'm so close in the other parish. But I'm not bad-minded. So therefore, I want to say to the chairman of the FCJ and the board of directors, congratulations. But I put a caveat on that, because this is the second time I've come to a function such as this, and it's very nice. However, everybody, including the two member parliaments and the entire audience here, wants to see the action. They want to see the construction started. And based on my brief, Prime Minister, there's a few more things that need to be done in order to get to the stage of where you have block and steel going up. And that is the formation of the special purpose company that is going to execute this development. And of course, the detailed designs and hydraulic studies, which also need to be done now that there's an agreement. And last but not least, the construction, which is $5 billion and is approximated to take 2 years. So my charge to the chairman and the board is, while you are doing those 3 things, or those 2 things before you get to the stage of construction, is that we need to see something happening out here. So let us not wait on that to happen, to start hoarding the place and putting up your site office and getting prepared so that the day that you have completed these, you will be able to go straight into construction and save some time. So I just caution everyone to say that we are here, and of course, by virtue of the fact that it's a groundbreaking, you would expect, obviously, that you would see some activities taking place within a short time frame. And therefore, it is important that we get these final stages complete so that we are able to start the construction so that the people can benefit. So as the minister without portfolio with responsibility for the FCJ, and a minister, or the only minister in the eastern end of the island, St. Thomas and Portland, I want to give you my commitment. And you know, when I talk, I don't put my mouth on ground and talk. That this will happen, and that we will work assiduously to get it started and get it completed in the shortest possible time so that we can reap the benefits of this visionary investment. So, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you very much. And just to say, action do this. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. The action man himself. Ladies and gentlemen, once more we are going to be treated to homegrown talent in the same person of Kevina Melbourne, who is now going to showcase her versatility with songs coming from the reggae genre. Make her feel welcome, please.
Hello again. I'm sure we all like reggae music, so if you know, please sing along. Yeah. Da 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 dee da 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 da. Hey, I see them coming after my soul, wanting to take control. Wanna give me looks, wanna give me bling, wanna give me all the material things. I hear them talking about what this world's got to offer. Boy, what you doing, don't you see? I saw them comfy dreadlocks and Marcus, Jesus and all of the prophets. But I am not afraid, no, come on. I'm not afraid, yeah, no, I am not afraid, no. If them a come, let them come, cause I'm protected by the most I want. And they don't mind when you fall behind and can't pay your bills on time, prostituting and standing in a them government line. No, and they don't mind when you waste your time coming up with some stupid lies, influencing the youths them for start a life or take a life. No, and they don't mind when you're locked up in jail, can't get no bail, sentence for life. No one see the youths them strive. No, they don't mind, but I am not afraid. Come on, sing it. No, I am not afraid. One more time. No, I. When it's so nice, if them a come, let them come. I'm protected by the Most High One. And they don't mind when you fall behind and can't pay your bills on time, prostituting and standing in a them government line. No, and they don't mind when you waste your time coming up with some stupid lies, influencing the youths them for start a life or take a life. And they don't mind when you're locked up in jail, can't get no bail, sentence for life. No one see the youths them strive, but they don't mind. But I am not afraid, no. But I am not afraid, yeah. No, I am not afraid. Hey, if them a come, let them come, 'cause I'm protected by the Most High One. No, 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 no. Yeah. Somebody say I'm not afraid. And if you want to St. Thomas develop, say no, I am not. And tell him say you're ready for no, I. Oh, one more time, say I. Wanna sound good? If them a come, let them come, 'cause we're protected by the Most High God. I see them coming after our souls and wanting to take control. Wanna give it locks, wanna give it bling, and wanna give it all the material things. But we want to see development, yeah, 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 yeah. Come on, if them a come, let them come, 'cause we're protected by the Most High God. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kevina. Kevina, ladies and gentlemen, I know who is not afraid. Because he has a dream for prosperity, the prosperity that is already being realized for Jamaica. He is none other than our main speaker, the Most Honorable Andrew Michael Holness, Prime Minister. May I invite you now to the microphone.
Thank you very much, Fabian, our Director of Ceremony. Reverend Carlyle, I was not here to receive the blessings personally, but I'm sure you will continue to pray for me as you have always done, and for the parish and the people. The Honorable Daryl Vaz, Minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, there is no need to badmine the people of St. Thomas for what they're going to get. Other members of the cabinet who are here, His Excellency Tian Chi, Ambassador of the People's Republic of China, members of the Senate and the Houses of Representatives, His Worship the Mayor, Councillor Michael Hugh, Mayor of Morant Bay, Dr. Zihib Yu, President of China Harbour Engineering Company, Americas Division, Mr. Littleton Shirley, we call him Tanny, Chairman of the Factories Corporation of Jamaica, executive heads of public and private sector organizations, and other stakeholders who are here, the Honorable Custos, representatives of the media, distinguished ladies and gentlemen of the long-suffering parish of St. Thomas. Like you, I have waited for some time for this day to arrive. My heart is filled with we can actually now break ground. Sometimes articulating a vision for greater prosperity for the people is met with great skepticism, cynicism. And there is reason for it. That exists, disbelief even, that prosperity can come, that progress will happen. But I am a firm believer that better must come. And I'm sure that Fenton will agree with that. But the macroeconomic stability that we have been experiencing over the last 4 years is unleashing the great potential that exists in this country. We are seeing it happening all across Jamaica. In Kingston, we are seeing the amazing transformation of the skyline and the infrastructure. Right across Jamaica, we are seeing the changes in major infrastructure. And we are going to make sure that it happens right here in St. Thomas. Prosperity is for all. Economic opportunity must be created and sustained in all our cities and rural towns and villages across Jamaica. The Morant Bay Urban Centre is a great prototype and symbol of the government's commitment to attaining this vision of shared prosperity. The parish of St. Thomas has been left behind since the abolition of slavery. Some believe it has been given a bad deal for its part in our fight for freedom and self-government. It is too often referred to as the forgotten parish. But St. Thomas' historic importance to the struggles of our nation cannot be overstated. And it is about time that the parish is recognized and gets the attention it deserves. It is therefore timely that the government of Jamaica is embarking on a number of important projects that will directly impact St. Thomas and the eastern parishes in Jamaica. These mega projects will be implemented in the next 3 to 5 years. The first is the development of the Norman Manley International Airport through a public-private partnership concession agreement that will see major investments to facilitate the renovation and expansion of the runway and other airport facilities. This will result in larger aircrafts capable of transporting larger volumes of cargo and passengers, thereby creating significant economic spin-off for this parish. Then, mega project number 2, the installation of a state-of-the-art floating barge and the construction of supporting facilities for the docking of cruise ships in Port Royal. This project will open up the tourism industry on the eastern side of the island, resulting in thousands of visitors disembarking to access the many indigenous products, services, and attractions available in places like St. Thomas and Portland. Again, this parish will benefit. The construction of this parish will benefit. And of course, the reason why we are here today the integrated business complex, the Morant Bay Urban Centre, which will be the new Morant Bay Town Centre. During my island-wide campaign leading up to the last general elections, I visited every parish capital. And I toured almost every major town in the country. And I hosted a series of meetings called Prosperity Live. Some of you may recall that I hosted one in Morant Bay, in the Anglican Church Town Hall. I see Member of Parliament Roberts nodding, but Fenton was nodding, so he recalled. Those meetings were quite successful. It was intended to be a campaign not just to lift political spirits, but to engage in a genuine conversation about changing the narrative from poverty to prosperity. It is not that we are ignoring that poverty exists, but you can't come out of poverty with poverty. The antidote to poverty is prosperity. And you have to start with changing the mentality. And so the tour was designed to get people, for the first time, to get out of the poverty mindset and into the prosperity mindset. The first thing is to develop a plan for prosperity. When you're in poverty, you can only see to your hands. But when you have changed from the poverty mindset, you can see to the horizon, beyond yourself. And to get to that horizon, you have to structure, develop a plan. And I didn't want to just come to the people and say, here is the plan. I wanted the people to be a part of the development of the plan. So yes, as people putting up ourselves to be leaders, we have an idea of what we need to do. But for that idea to take shape into a plan, it must have legitimacy. And for it to have legitimacy, the people have to see themselves in the plan. So when I came into the Anglican Church Hall in St. Thomas, it was a small town hall, packed, overcrowded, and the people were able to express themselves. And they expressed their great frustration that nothing has happened in this parish. Not quite true, but that is the feeling of the people. They see things happening in other parishes, but nothing happening here of significance that would give them hope that there is a plan for them. And I took that into consideration. The ultimate object of their frustration, the one thing that they could point to that demonstrated that the parish was being ignored, was that the Goodyear factory that was closed since 1997, nothing had been done. And I gave my commitment that I would pay the attention to this parish that it deserved, and that I would do all in my powers were I to win the government to start the redevelopment of the Goodyear factory for the benefit of the people of St. Thomas. But it wasn't St. Thomas alone that I toured. And the problems of St. Thomas are not unique to St. Thomas. Indeed, the problems of Morant Bay are not unique to Morant Bay. As I traveled around Jamaica, what was clear is that some towns were dying. Population had moved. But others were bursting at the seams. Population was growing. There was energy there. Energy for commerce, business and industry and entertainment. But with that energy was chaos, because there was no real plan for the development of the town. The town had outgrown its functional capacity. Traffic was uncontrolled, whether it was vehicular or pedestrian. Public order in most towns broken down. Sanitation in most towns deplorable. So these towns, whilst having great potential and great energy, this great energy was actually limiting the potential if there was no overarching plan for its development. And so, as a government, we decided that we are not just going to focus on the development of Kingston, but we are going to develop plans for all our major townships in Jamaica. We're going to improve their infrastructure. Some of the major towns, we will have to construct bypass roads around them. So for example, that lovely little town right on the seafront there, Anato Bay, that is a town where we will have to construct a bypass around. The instructions have already been given to the NWA to plan it. They have identified the route. That will be done. We're looking at the town of Lucy, another lovely town right on the seaside. We're going to do a bypass around Lucy. This is not to take away the traffic, but this is to be better able to regulate the traffic and properly utilize the space within the town to improve the functionality and efficiency of doing business in the town. The towns are a complex web of activities. Some activities don't work well with each other. So there are some activities that are best done in clusters. For example, government services. So you want to create a center where the citizens can access the government easily. So you don't have to go 2 miles south and then they tell you, okay, you have completed a part of the process here, you now need to go 10 miles north to complete the other part of the process. We are putting everything in one location. And it's not just for Morant Bay, but for example, the town of Falmouth, lovely town. It serves all the people of Trelawney. You don't have to come to Kingston, or you shouldn't have to come to Kingston to do everything. And indeed, we are moving to put more services online. But those that can't go online should be in close proximity to you where it requires your physical presence. And therefore, the town centers have to be created with all the government services. So right here, as anchor to this project, will be all the government services that exist within the town of Morant Bay and those to come that will serve the population. But you also need the anchor of your civic identity. Yes, civic identity is important. It is a symbol of your pride, of who we are as a people. And every parish has its local government. And it is not somewhere to be hidden in some decrepit building somewhere. It must be placed in a prime spot that people can see it, because it represents the authority that you give it. And if the authority that you give to your leaders and your institutions look decrepit and old and run down, then what will you, the people, think of it? How will you respond to authority? Same thing with our court buildings. Same thing with our police stations. They must be given the appropriate infrastructure to reflect your own, what you would want to see, your aspirations. And so we're going to do that here. But these towns have significant historic value. If you go through Morant Bay, Lucy, or Falmouth, you will see some architecture there that in other countries, those architecture are protected and people pay hundreds of US dollars to go and just look at them. But we have them here rotting. You can't get to them because from here to there is filled with vending. People who occupy them don't appreciate the value of it, so they renovate them using architecture that is of no real aesthetic value. And so we lose that history. We have to now be deliberate in having those pieces of architecture protected. Many of these towns have historic artifacts which are just going to waste. Now I want you to put everything together to see the plan. Major project. First one I told you was the airport. Fixing the airport. Expanding the runway so we can take more visitors. The second one was the Port Royal, so that we can have more cruise ships coming in. So if we have more cruise ships and more passengers traveling in by air, yes, they're going to want to go to to see the museum for Bob Marley. They're going to want to probably go up in the hills of East Rural to get some coffee. But some of them are going to want to travel even further if it only takes them 40 minutes to come from Kingston to come to Morant Bay to understand our history, because not all tourists come for sun, sea, and sand. Most tourists travel for experience. So they want to see how you live. But if how you live doesn't appeal to them, they don't want to come. At least they should be able to walk freely on the road, see the architecture, the artifacts, interact with the people safely, and then get back and get on their cruise ships within 40 minutes to an hour. That's what you want. And that is why we are developing the plan. You see the plan? So this is not in isolation. So very soon, this area will be able to claim as part of its industry tourism in a big way. But it's more than that. The investment in the road will also help the development of mining in the area. So you will have two major industries that will carry employment and development for this area. A third will be housing. So I've already given the NHT a direction that they should start exploring lands in this area to build housing for the people. So there are big things planned for this area. Now, when I took over as Prime Minister, I gave a direction to the board of FCJ that they must utilize all the properties that they have. Now, many of you don't know that this property here was the subject of a development attempt in, I believe it was somewhere in 2013. that the FCJ borrowed $194 million from the NIF to upgrade the property and to do something with the property that would get economic activity going. That did not get off the ground. Today, the FCJ is paying $3.6 million in a mortgage on this property. And overall, we are spending $5.7 million per year to maintain it. So even though the property is here lying idle, it doesn't mean that it is not a cost to us. The government is paying $5.7 million every year for this piece of idle property. So it is better that we do something with the property. Because if we don't do nothing with the property, we're paying for it the same way. So I'm pleased to say that the FCJ, that is a Factories Corporation, has done a great job. They have moved occupancy of all their properties up to an average of 94%. That's significant. And some properties will have, as reported by Chairman Shirley, some properties have 100% occupancy. And the FCJ moved from being an unprofitable, poorly run organization to being one of the most efficient and profitably run organization in the public sector. I'm not going to tell you how much billions the FCJ has in hand, but it's not, they have $1.7 billion in cash sitting down on. And they have to do something with it. And what I've told them to do is to build more factories. Build more factory space. And they are following the direction. So Minister Vaz in Boundbrook, they're going to be doing a similar kind of development on a smaller scale. They're going to be doing a 100,000 square feet complex there. And that complex will house both public and private sector operations. The idea is similar, to create a town center to pull some of the traffic out of the center of Port Antonio, to free up Port Antonio. So that is already underway. Development works are in progress. The FCJ will be building 150,000 square feet of new building space in phase one of an overall 595,000 square feet development at Garmix. That is, they're going to expand their Garmix operation. Garmix, by the way, is 100% occupied, and it is the prime industrial and commercial location in Kingston. Everybody wants to be in Garmix. So they're going to be putting in 595,000 square feet of new space, but in phase one, they're doing 150,000. We just approved that in Cabinet on Monday, so it is up to you when you actually start the project now, Tanny. At Nagohead, the FCJ will be constructing the English-speaking Caribbean's largest technology park, 810,000 square feet. The park will cost $8.1 billion to construct. It will house mostly BPO activities, but it is a technology park, so we want to also encourage new business in technology to occupy the park under a special economic zone operation. And then, beside that project, in partnership with the UDC, they're also going to construct a 120,000 square feet commercial and industrial complex valued at $1.2 billion, which will be a supporting facility for the tech park. So the truth is that though they have all of this money, the projects that they have has just wiped them out. But that is good. It is not for the government agencies to have money sitting down on. They must use the money to create opportunities for the people. So let me thank Chairman Shirley and the board for faithfully and diligently following the directives, the policy directives of the government. And I'm looking forward to seeing all these plans come to fruition very quickly. Let me say a few words about what will happen here. Safety and security and public order is paramount for this development. We are not going to spend the money we are spending here for it to descend into chaos and disorder. This will not be a place for chaos and disorder. This will be a place for safety, security, sanitation, good behavior, public order. So when you come inside here, whatever behavior you would have had outside, you leave it outside. The place will be designed for order. And Jamaicans have to get used to that. Because your disorder, though you might feel is good for you, it's bad for everybody else. And then for everybody else to be able to move freely and function and get what they want, they have to behave disorderly too. And then we turn around and expect the police to address a cultural problem of disorder. I have to just talk it as it is. So we're not going to put down the billions of dollars here for it to turn out just like anywhere else. So, built into the system will be all the necessary security apparatus. So whether it is cameras, sensors, the security features, there will be a security post, a police post inside here. All of that will be built in up front. So if you believe you can come here and steal a car and get away, camera watch you, pick you up. Jamaica has to embrace its environment. It's always a constant struggle between economic development and the preservation of the environment. Our government believes in sustainable development. So what we are going to do here is to integrate upfront green technologies. So we're going to be reusing our water to make sure that the grass is always green, and I'm sure Fenton will agree with me on that. We're going to have some wind turbines and some photocells here as well to reduce the energy cost. That is built into the project. Heritage is important. So they will create here an amphitheater and a heritage park so that people can come and interact with their history, with artifacts, that they can have space for entertainment where they can feel safe. So I give you a little context. So at the meeting at the church hall, one of the requests that was made, I distinctly recall, someone in the audience said, Prime Minister, you know that every other town have a Kentucky Fried Chicken. Well, I am not here to promote any brand, right? But I am using that to make the point. People have certain markers for development and modernity. And essentially, what the person was asking was, when will the services and amenities and facilities that are available in other developed areas, when will they be available here? This development will give the opportunity for enterprising business persons, and I would say to the business community, get in right now, get in before the buildings are built, to put the facilities and the services here. So you're going to have banks that have already come on board, supermarkets and food chains that have already expressed interest that are on board, utility companies, and along with the road, we will be putting in pipes to improve water. But as well, the telecommunications companies have already indicated that they're going to be making significant investment in putting in the cables underground to carry your Wi-Fi and your internet connections to improve them in the parish. And of course, I had already mentioned that the government will be anchoring all its services here. But transportation has always been problematic. Always. To get discipline and order. There's a challenge with just forming a queue and waiting in line. Always a problem. So we are designing this place with public transportation in mind. Orderly transportation in mind. So we will have over 350 parking spots to be provided. So we're building that in up front. So there is no need to park on the sidewalk and mash up the curb wall and prevent people from being able to walk freely on the sidewalk. And you don't have to come and park in front of the building that you're going into. Take the 2 or the 3 minutes from the parking lot to the building. It will help your heart, reduce your hypertension, and improve your health. And the parking orders will be strictly enforced. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is an exercise in development. We all want the development, but not all is willing to change their behavior for the development. And not all want the development either. But all I am going to say, just give me the energy me need. Keep me firm and strong. Right, Andre Sutherland? Firm and strong. Strong already, you know. So, as Minister Vaz pointed out, we are breaking ground. Still have a few steps to go. And I'm certain that those steps, Dr. Hu, will be done very quickly. But I want it to be known that the government is standing behind this project. And we will ensure that this project is done. This is an important project. It is a signal project. It is a project that will say to the people of Jamaica, through the people of St. Thomas, that the government is serious about their development. So we must make sure that this project happens in time and within the budget, and that the people can be proud of this development. Ladies and gentlemen, the time is hot. And I was in preaching mode. Thank you for listening. God bless you.
Thank you very much, Most Honorable Prime Minister. Not only were you in preaching mode, but you constantly live in the mood to do something. And I'm really very grateful for that. Ladies and gentlemen, as the Prime Minister will tell you, there's much to do to attain the prosperity for which he exposed. And so he is not singular in his focus, and so we are not going to be singular in our focus here this morning. So whilst we give thanks for the presence of all persons who have taken the time to be here this morning to witness this very historic happening for the parish of St. Thomas, and while we acknowledge with gratitude all the persons who would have journeyed and would have come to the microphone and share their own sentiments of support and partnership, at this point, we are going to invite those who are designated for the groundbreaking event itself. And then, whilst the groundbreaking event is happening, we're going to invite all of us remaining in our seats to view exactly what the vision is what is the vision for this space. You will have an opportunity to view that on the screen behind me. And so you will see what will be realized here in very short order. So, ladies and gentlemen, as I indicated earlier, I am Fabian Brown, a member of the board of Factories Corporation, and I want to thank you very much for this opportunity to engage you and for your presence here this morning. And at this point, may I invite the Most Honorable Prime Minister, the Chairman of the Board of Factories Corporation, both members of Parliament, Dr. Ferguson and Mr. Robertson, His Worship Mayor Hugh, Ambassador and Madam President, if we could invite you to journey to the space where we will be breaking ground. This team will also be overseen by our Managing Director and our Minister without portfolio, Minister Vaz. At this point, as I indicated earlier, I would like to invite all else present to feast your eyes on the Morant Bay Urban Centre that will be developed. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.